This might get weird.
Are we rolling?
We're rolling.
Well, then cheers, Grace Helbig.
Cheers, Mamrie Hart.
We are coming to you guys on this episode of This Might Get Real from Grace is in Vegas, and I'm in my pajamas on the corner of my couch.
Yeah, you look like you're doing like a sympathy morning for me over here in Vegas right now.
No, I just, I was telling you before we got started, I'm the one who's sleep deprived, even though you're the one in Vegas.
Yeah.
So I'm keeping it comfy. I'm in my Baby Yoda jammies.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
You wonder why I get the night sweats.
Common thing. Lots of response to the night sweats happening to a lot of people. It's Friday morning here in Vegas. One of the rare times of the week I've seen in Vegas. So pretty incredible. We had a great night last night. I'll talk about it on next week's pod.
Totally.
But very excited to talk about all the reality TV that we've indulged in this week. Lots going on. And also, we asked you guys last week, since there's so many episodes of so many things happening right now, like what are your preferences of shows? What I saw from feedback was lots of people wanting conversation about Drag Race and Survivor.
Yeah, okay.
And Bachelor.
Yes.
So I think Vanderpump can if we have stuff to say, maybe, but I think we focus on those three.
Totally. Well, should I just say what I think about Vanderpump real quick? And I think it's so redundant. I think they like we've said before, they peaked and this is the denouement.
Yeah.
It's just going to continue to be a Tom Sandoval redemption / apology that's not actually an apology tour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What I'll say about this week is God bless, and I feel very sorry for this guided meditation teacher.
I know. I was like, this woman had to know what she was walking into and agreeing to do.
Also, I remember reading a blind item type of thing about possibly Sheena and Brock are headed for divorce, something like that. And this is the episode where I was like, I could see that. Like when he showed up a little bit late from playing golf. And also I was like, good on you for getting up so early, driving to the other side of the lake and playing golf. I would have been like, look at my man. He's got passions.
Nope.
No, but she was pissed and she made it the Sheena show as she always does.
Yeah, and the previews for next week don't look any better. She's really doubling down on how she really wanted Dancing with the Stars more than anything, and that she's been taking dance lessons in the off chance that she got it, and then Ariana got it. It's just it can be, look, two things can be true at once. That can be how she really feels, and it can be a bad look on TV.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one other thing I wrote down about it was that I think it was this episode, basically Tom Sandoval saying, I was out there on tour and doing all this stuff. And he was saying I didn't want to do that. I was broke. I needed the money. He has 9 bandmates.
I know.
And they were playing peewee softball fields.
Yeah.
As someone who you and I tour, and there's only 2 of us, and we have no equipment, and it couldn't be more bare bones what you and I do, and we still kind of break even.
Yeah. I was like, how much is he getting paid for this tour? This is crazy.
Grace, I went on his website.
Yeah.
Tom Sandoval, the Most Extras. They have a whole spring tour.
Okay, so it's still happening.
There's 9 of them, a whole spring tour, and the one thing I'll say is the places they are playing, no hate to Warrendale, Pennsylvania, but they are playing, one of their tour dates is Jurgles Rhythm Grill.
What? Did you just have a stroke?
Jurgles Rhythm Grill in Warrendale, PA, and I was like, what's the other talent that's going there? Well, we've got the Red Hot Chili Pipers, a bagpipe cover band.
Honestly, let's get tickets.
I know. I'm like, should we go to Warrendale? And then a few days before the Most Extras play, we've got Mini Kiss, just a Kiss cover band with little people.
Okay, so a variety.
What I'm saying is, let's go to Jurgles for a week.
Yeah, Jurgles is where it's at, is what it sounds like. Should we do a show in Jurgles? How do we get in on this?
Jurgles.
Is Jurgles the cash cow that we didn't know about? My God.
So anyway, that's my overall thoughts is let's continue to watch Sheena break down and possibly her marriage.
Yeah, it's tough too because all this stuff happened last summer and everyone has been following this on their social medias in real time. So it's also a little hard to watch something that feels like it happened so long ago play out when you kind of got the taste of it through what they post on social media already.
Well, and also just the speed of it. I feel like we it's like we went from watching hockey to baseball.
Yeah.
I'm just
Good
like,
analogy.
This is so slow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay,
Totally.
so V-Pump, you dumped.
Bam. Okay, let's get into Drag Race since this was the most furthest away from when we're talking right now.
I know. Overall, I really liked this episode. I am shook that this is the third sewing challenge. That's the first time they've done that since like season 4 or
Someone said on Twitter that it was because of the writer's strike. But I don't know. Who knows? That's just a guess. It didn't seem, I don't know how accurate that is, but I can believe that is how that lined up. I don't know.
I'm going to say, based on the mini challenge being a spit take challenge, I would agree that no writers were present for this episode.
But I didn't mind. The spit take is fun. They just look stupid, but
I don't think it's like my least favorite mini challenge. Just because I'm thinking about the spit crew, as they say, which aren't actually cleaning it up. They go back to their trailers and other people come clean it up. But also, it's just there's no real way to be funny during it.
Yeah.
I mean, really. And then also, all I kept thinking is because she's so bad at so many things, is if Maya had gone first, she would have like just swallowed the water and been like, wait, what are you supposed to do?
I'm great. I'm great. Oh man. Yeah. The mini challenges, I kind of tune out. I don't really watch, but then I realize like they do win $2,500 for spitting water and getting into quick drag.
Well, the reading challenge is always actually, showing some talent.
Yeah. That one's really fun. Okay. This week we are doing a design challenge. And it's what is it? Neo-goth, like new goth. That's okay. First, my biggest overarching question of this entire episode is what qualifies as goth? What is goth? What's punk? What's emo? Like, are they interchangeable? Because I feel like you could argue that a lot of the looks were more punk and emo versus like goth maybe, but that's just maybe my misunderstanding of it. I'm not totally sure.
I feel like it was all over the board, because even, and we'll get into more details, but even some of the outfits, I was like, I would never call Q's look goth.
Right. But neo-goth, new goth, maybe.
Is that what neo means?
New? Or is it neo like Matrix?
I wish.
I don't know. I just assumed that it meant like a modern interpretation of goth. Yeah. Which I guess you could qualify everyone's designs as that.
Like they just didn't want you to come as a Victorian era goth. But a lot of people did.
That's what I mean. I was so confused. Like, what are they actually looking for? However, I will say overall, like, I thought all the designs were really good. Like, really well done for the most part for what they have to work with. And also, like, when they started this episode and they announced that it was a design challenge, I was like, man, they really want Maya gone and they really want Nymphia to stay. Like, this is wild.
I mean, it definitely, look, here's the deal is I love a sewing challenge, but I also really loved Project Runway, etc.
Yeah.
However, I feel like there needs to be ways in which, for this, it was just solely based on the look,
Yeah.
So that if you can't sew, you're screwed or you're asking Saphira to help you.
Yeah.
I like when they do a sewing challenge or a design challenge with another element, like when they do an unconventional one, we get that Monet Exchange sponges.
Dress. Yeah.
Or that tiny paper bag.
Lala Ree. I mean, that was art. And that honestly, like, gave her such status in the universe of drag. I feel like it was a perfect accident. She secured the bag.
Exactly. Based on that one. So I like when there's an element where even if you're not great, like it'd be okay for you as a hot glue gun, or you had a really great idea for this tarp, or even I'm thinking about the previous design challenge with the dolls.
Yeah.
Like, Plain Jane, I'm not sure if she won that one, but she definitely did really well. And she knows how to sew. So her outfit looked great. But I didn't love her outfit on that design challenge. But her voiceover explaining the doll was hysterical.
Was very fun.
So like a design challenge where there's like an element to where if you're not great at sewing, you can really still like show some skills or like show some humor a different way.
Yeah, I was listening to Willem and Alaska's Race Chaser this week, and they brought up a great point too. Well, obviously there's like the criticism that like design challenges or sewing challenges don't really matter as much as they did in the early seasons because queens aren't out there sewing all their looks all the time as much as they used to.
Right.
But that they brought up, I think Willem said, it would be really interesting to make it like a true design challenge and have like seamstresses assigned to all the queens. So the queens design their look and then someone that is a professional sewer puts it together so you can really judge it on the actual design of it itself.
Design as opposed to execution.
Yeah, the craftsmanship. I feel like that would have been kind of interesting. I mean, that's a way bigger undertaking. And obviously everyone, I think, loves the gag of seeing like who can sew and who can't. But
well, how do you feel about Saphira helping Maya? Because Dawn at one point said, like, you helping her helps me lose. And that's not a direct quote, but I feel the exact same way.
I mean, it's tough. Saphira is awesome. I love her much. She's her pep talk to Plasma in this workroom when Plasma was like kind of spiraling. And I wrote down the quote that she said, "That annoying girl, I need her right now." Like he was telling her, like, you're not being yourself. I need you to get back. I was just like, that's such a sweet. And she was asking her, like, I'm more worried about your insides. I was like, oh, what a mother moment. How lovely. But that is like, I mean, if you're Saphira too, and you're have such maternal instincts, how do you deny your sister needing help? And how do you, I mean, that's a tough boundary to create.
I get it, but it's not a team challenge.
I know.
And I totally get it. And like, I'm team Dawn's quote on that one because it really is like, I understand helping someone out. And I especially understand, like you just said, Saphira helping out Plasma emotionally.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I would feel like, well, hold on. Saphira just won this challenge. You know, Saphira is safe twice. Maya isn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I understand if it's a group challenge and you help someone with their choreo or give someone a pep talk, but fully making a dress for another person.
Yeah.
I would be pissed if I was the other girls.
I know. And then it comes down to like what qualifies as her making it. Cause I'm assuming, or at least they like made it seem like Saphira just kind of helped guide her and Maya actually sewed it herself.
I think Maya was taking a nap.
I know, but Maya, I honestly, I'm becoming more of a Maya fan. Like her just kind of like having some confidence now and just like walking around the workroom.
She got cocky.
I know. It's kind of fun to see that she's like calling people out and I don't mind it. I think it's very, very fun.
Here's what I'll say. I like Maya in an untucked, cocky, and I can appreciate. Do I think she has any right staying as opposed to any of these other girls? Absolutely not. And I understand that it all comes down to the lip sync. I said this last week. I say this every week because Maya's always in the bottom and always coming through. Yeah. But it's just kind of like, it's not an overall queen.
Yeah.
I would absolutely go to her show, but like, I don't think she should, would represent the brand.
Right. And that's the interesting part about this show as it evolves. Because like when you look at someone like Q, you're like, wow, what an amazing design. Like truly unbelievable, very inspiring. But I would rather watch Maya lip sync than Q at a show, So like if I pay for a show somewhere, I would rather be entertained by Maya, maybe. So let's just get into these designs.
Okay.
I thought, I'm going to say something that's controversial.
Girl, please do it because I'm always getting dragged in these comments.
And I already talked to Tim about this. I didn't hate Plasma's look. But because I created a narrative in my head for it. In my head, her look was like gossip girl tries goth. And so it's like fashion light, like I'm a popular high school girl and I'm trying to do goth, but it's like kind of not totally correct.
See, my story for it was Got Mick attempts to be a bad Cher.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see that one too. Absolutely. Now, okay, talking about the plasma of it all.
Yeah.
What do you feel about the internet is a little like on Dawn's ass about like villain behavior of her telling Plasma that she should change up what the judges expect in the workroom, which I don't think was said with any strategic malice intent. I think she was giving her genuine advice that like you're pigeonholing yourself with this one style and maybe it's time to try something new, because that's what the judges preach all the time. It's an oxymoron of being like, you better know your brand and also you better come delivering something different every week.
Well, yeah, exactly. I know it's the inner conundrum of like, I need to be original, but I need to also do what I know they like. You know, if you are on Chopped, you're not going to give Scott Conant raw red onions. But what if raw red onions are what your dish calls for?
Yeah,
deep cut. Here's what I'll say. On our episode last week, I do the regular go respond to some comments or whatnot, and there was a comment that was thumbs up quite a bit that was like, basically disagreeing with what I had said about Plasma last week, where I was like, I think she needs to do something different. She needs to mix it up. And totally valid
I said that
point.
too, yeah.
Yeah, but the comment was like, I disagree because there's other queens, and they specifically said Jinx, Bianca, Sharon Needles, Violet, and Sasha Velour, who did the same thing consistently, and, they persevered. They, won, whatnot. Here's what I'll say.
Okay.
Those people had an original character. Mm-hmm. Even like Bianca, who is, a very much like, comic, like brash, whatever, still has her own thing going. Sasha Velour, an absolute original. Violet Chachki, Jinx, great at impressions, but also a spooky little crazy weirdo,
And theater queen. Yeah.
And theater queen. So with Plasma, the reason why I was like, mix it up is because I feel like her bread and butter was solely acting like other theater queens instead of embracing her own. So like when she did Patti LuPone and she did her first talent show, she was doing like Joan Rivers and stuff.
Yeah.
And even when she didn't want to be Barbara and then she won that week. And so, and she said like, I need to do something. I don't want to get pigeonholed.
Right.
So me saying that about, or us saying that about Plasma was really like, Plasma's got a fiery little personality. Let's quit just pretending to be other divas. You know what I mean?
I just wanted to see her do something stupid. She plays these
she's
divas.
So polished.
She plays them like very accurately. I think Dawn or Q said this to her too. Like, you do a great impression, it's just not funny. Like, I just wanted to see her like let loose. What is that, Lucy DeLuca? Let loose. I want to see her do something.
Let loose.
Yeah, the anthem of a generation. I really wanted to just see Plasma do something like absolutely dumb, really stupid, high camp or something. And I don't know that this challenge, unfortunately, was the place for her to experiment with that. But I give her nothing but credit for experimenting, and I feel like she shouldn't regret anything that she did, because she had an amazing showing on this show.
Well, that's when it gets tough, because yes, Maya had some great backflips and lip sank the shit out of that song.
That TikTok sped up version of Bloody Mary.
Totally. I dance. But like, I would rather watch Plasma the rest of the season.
Yeah.
100,000%. I think Plasma is incredibly talented.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry I'm acting like such a Maya hater, but I am. Even her taking off the wig that early, other people would be crucified for that.
Yeah, there's the taking off her shoes, taking off wigs. There's a lot of stuff that people are questioning. Like, I guess this has changed, that Rue thinks this is okay now, or this before was like, absolutely, you do not do this, or you're going to be sent home. So she's
totally
defied odds.
If I was a drag queen right now with hopes of ever going on this show, obviously I would cancel my sewing lessons and sign up for acrobatics.
Right. At what point does it that everyone needs to do tricks and stunts? Like,
yes.
Because that's a bit intimidating. Not everyone can do that, but everyone could learn how to sew.
Well, because look at that list: Jinx, Bianca, Sharon, Sasha, all these people. It's like all about the artistic stuff.
Yeah, they're not doing flips.
They're not doing splits. They're not doing nothing. Okay, so let's talk about our favorite looks.
Yeah.
My favorite looks of the week were Dawn and Nymphia.
Yeah, I loved Dawn's look, and it's a shame because it's such a high caliber group. So
Yeah.
her stuff is like amazing, but then you have Q and Nymphia that you're like, how do you compete? I thought it was so cool that Dawn has an engineering degree.
I know, with the little chandelier and the fishing wire.
Yeah, I thought it was so beautiful and intricate, especially when you looked at it up close. But like when you look at it from a distance on the runway, it didn't have as much of an impact.
Okay, well,
is,
here's what
yeah.
I'll say is one of the reasons why I think, and I really enjoy Q, just because I don't love her brick.
Yeah.
I enjoy Q. I feel like one of the reasons why she won, I think her outfit was gothic. I don't think it was goth, but it made such a statement because it was white. I feel like Dawn's outfit, if it had been any other challenge but the same design in colors where you could really see the detail more, she would have won.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
because it was black.
And especially when you have someone like Nymphia that comes out and does something similar-ish to Dawn, but does it to this like extra haunted gothy like couture degree. You're just like, wow, how do you compete with that? I mean, I love Nymphia. She knocked it out of the park. Q's I thought was really cool. I just was like, I don't know if this is goth. This feels like, I guess, like goth Mad Max. Like,
you know who it reminded me of? With the big white outfit and the makeup and the little squiggle.
Yeah.
Who is that like haunted clown guy who sings covers of pop music? It's like Waddles. You know who I'm talking about? He performed at his Streamies. What is it called? It's like Chuckles the Clown or something. It's a band and he tours and they do covers of like pop songs. Let's see.
Maybe.
I'm gonna look it up.
It doesn't come to mind immediately, but I'm sure the reference is there. I love in terms of like presentation on the runway, Saphira is amazing. Like her I'm over it like bride and Rue saying like it's lunchtime or break time at the Haunted Mansion. Killed me.
Okay, Puddle's Pity Party.
Puddle's Pity Party. Okay.
It's like a bit anyway, it just feels a little bit like that would have been amazing for the like sad clown challenge or whatever, but it didn't feel gothic. It felt I don't know, creepier.
Yeah.
I will say about Saphira, who I adore, is she's doing the big eyes character for every runway.
Okay.
I want to see Saphira be soft. I want to see. I think the eyes are hilarious, but like I think that's just her thing. It's like big eyes, like judgy, like maternal figure. So I want to see Saphira mix it up out there a little bit.
I bet we will. She seems like she can do it all. So I would love to see that too.
Yeah, she can do it all, including help other people not go home.
Yeah. I also thought Morphine wasn't that bad. I didn't love Plain Jane's. I'm trying to think of who else is in the competition still.
Morphine's again, that's the one that felt Mad Max to me. Like with Morphine, I was kind of like,
with the points. Yeah,
I hated it. It felt like the love child of Morticia and someone who would fight the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, okay, I can
Bebop
see that.
and Rocksteady.
Yep, perfect. But I do think we're getting down to nitty gritty, and it's gonna be hard from here on out.
It is gonna be hard if Maya doesn't go home next week.
I know. I mean, it's all the writing's on the wall. It feels like.
Well, I feel like at this point they'll make next week like the gymnastics challenge to keep her there.
Yeah, someone tweeted, "What does Maya have on Rue to keep getting through these episodes?"
I don't understand it. It's killing me.
And people did get upset that I guess Dawn and Q and those queens had like a big reaction to Maya staying. People are picking up on potential like mean girl behavior, but I think it might just be edited like that. I will say,
then I'm a massive mean girl. I've just been talking shit for 20 minutes.
I will say, Q is getting a little snobby. Q's getting a little snob, squeaking out a little bit.
I like Q a lot, but I could picture Q in a backstage dressing room without cameras around being a little bit like, no, sorry, I have all the makeup tables.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, we'll see. Very excited. And that's tonight. Ooh, how fun.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And do we know what the big challenge is tonight?
I forget. I didn't watch the next week. So It'll be a surprise.
It'll be a surprise, y'all.
Let's talk about Bachelor. That's the
Bachelor.
next in line. All right.
Hometown dates.
Whoa. And this is where you might have to fill me in on some of the tropes of well, I learned that the airport hangar is a trope.
It's the iconic, like, I guess it's where they always do the rose ceremony before they go to hometown or after hometown dates. And I truly never clocked that.
Yeah, because I was like, why the fuck are they in an airport hangar right now? What's going on?
I feel like they've had several seasons where The Bachelor is a pilot.
Oh.
And they did one, I mean, there's at least 3 seasons where The Bachelor is a pilot. And then also there was a season where they had 2 bachelorettes at the same time, and one of them was a pilot. So I knew they would do the airport hangar as those themes, but I didn't know it was like a hometown tradition.
Thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I love the opening of Maria's dad as this like Godfather figure. They played Godfather Italian music under that man the entire episode.
I truly think that editors looked up mobster sound alike.
Royalty-free.
Royalty-free mobster.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, is he even Italian? They said Greek Italian. Is Joey Greek or Italian?
Well,
I don't know.
I don't know. Like playing the Godfather and then they're like, oh, have these iconic Greek stuffed peppers. I was like, oh, what's happening here?
I know.
Also, her father is a sweetheart.
Yeah. He's all okay. I will say this. I started watching this on the treadmill while I was walking, and I started like tearing up because the dads on this episode were so genuine and sweet and protective of their daughters. And I was like, this is a lot. Especially starting off with Kelsey in New Orleans. Her dad.
Oh my God.
I was like, you know, there's a producer behind the scenes going, he's going to be the Golden Bachelor.
Well, Twitter,
and if she doesn't get picked, she's going to be the Bachelorette, and we'll do a double season.
That's all I thought.
Yeah.
That's all I thought. I mean, everyone is going crazy about Golden Bachelor. I told you that I haven't started following Kelsey on TikTok, but I watched enough that she's in my algorithm. And it's just it was just her and her siblings reacting to people's thirst TikToks about her dad and like just screaming and being like, this is my dad. You guys, you're so fucked up. Like
That's
her
funny.
TikTok's very funny. And he is so handsome.
What a lovely man.
What a lovely family altogether. I thought the New Orleans date was adorable. I know some people will disagree, but I think him and Kelsey have the most chemistry and also what feels like we want to fuck.
Yeah, they definitely seem like they genuinely are attracted to each other, and they also seem the least awkward with each other. Like, I'm not worried when I watch them that one of them's going to say something weird to the other one, or it's going to get weird. I'm like, I feel like I'm genuinely watching people that are dating right now.
Yes. I know. They'll always say, it's a big thing on Bachelor that'll be like, it feels when I'm like, I feel like I just spent the day with my boyfriend. And with them, I'm like, oh, you kind of look like you went into a bar.
Yeah.
You walked through the park. You had a cute moment. Like it didn't feel like this big produced orchestrated day, which I liked. Like when he went home with, no, I'm blanking on her name.
Daisy?
No, she's Hawaiian.
Oh, Rachel.
Like it was adorable, but I was like, this is an incredibly produced backyard barbecue.
Yeah, that was a very intense situation for both of them. You could feel like I felt for Rachel of being like, I'm so nervous about this, and like he's going to be introduced to my family and my culture and traditions, and this is like a lot. I did though appreciate Rachel's dad when Rachel was like, you do know what happens at the end of this, and he was like, I don't watch this show. It's like, I like her dad.
Yeah, that was pretty good. No, her family was super cute. Like, I wanted to go hang out there, and I thought it was adorable. I still don't really understand their chemistry.
Same. I don't see, unless they're not, I don't know. I don't see it the same with the other girls. And that's what Twitter was saying too. So
yeah, I don't know if she's just kind of guarded or what. Obviously, there's a spark there, especially for what I've thought he's had connections with other people and to keep her there. But I thought her little nephew's so cute. But I would have been like, bitch, that's not how you play cornhole.
Yeah, that's cheating. Don't do
Okay,
this.
Okay, let's get the nephew and Saphira together to be
Yeah.
a team.
Daisy lives on a Christmas tree farm in Minnesota, or it was her grandparents' Christmas tree farm. I felt like we walked into like a Lifetime movie
Yes,
when we went there.
She's been a Lifetime movie since the beginning. Here's what I'll say about Daisy
Yeah.
and all her friends showing up. And I heard echoes of this on the,
Twitter.
on the social medias.
Yeah.
Is that it feels like Daisy is taking this journey for herself.
Yeah.
And it's not about her connection with Joey.
That's what they've hinted a couple times, that she's like, I think I'll get there. I don't know if I'll get there. That it makes me wonder if she's the one at the end that stands him up in some way.
Well, I just wonder too with Daisy. Again, with Daisy, I think they're like cute together, and I like her, but like I don't see any sexual chemistry. Again, it's
Yeah.
ABC. We don't need to. We'll save it for the fantasy suite.
There
But
you
it
go.
feels like her story has been just her talking about her cochlear implant and how she's working through it and how tough it is, when like I haven't heard her ask about Joey at all.
Well, that's what everyone. I saw a tweet that
Not
was
a
like,
question.
all these women keep trauma dumping on Joey. Like, do we even know what his favorite color is?
I know. I'm like, what is Joey like besides tennis? I have no
know.
fucking idea. And I guess maybe people who watch it know a lot more about him from his season when he was a contestant.
Yeah, that's what I can assume. But I've learned zero about him other than he's a cartoon character of a human that's great at actively listening and loves tennis.
Yeah. But with Daisy, I was just kind of like, okay, you're seeing your friends, you're seeing your family, you're talking about how tough it is. And like, it just feels like that we're watching Daisy process this change in her life as opposed to watching her form a connection with someone.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, even like, well, I loved her dad being like,
Her dad was sweet.
oh my God, you're not going to lose your hearing over it.
I know.
Like that. I was like, oh my God, these dads are so sweet.
Dad's for the win.
And then when she was sitting with her family and could hear her brother's voice
That
as
was
her
the
brother's
most-
voice for the first time, that's when I agree with you that I'm like, we should just be following her journey through her cochlear implant aftermath. Like, we don't need to follow her looking for love. That might be too much on her plate right now.
Right? Well, her even saying at the beginning, like, this is, I feel like she said, like, this is my first time dating with the implant
Yeah.
and all this stuff. Like, I think she should have taken a year or two to process that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like you learning all these things, which it makes for great TV, but doing all that on camera, like maybe you should have dated a few people and then like walked in guns a-blazing, like, this is who I am. This is what's up. I'm not going to cry about this every episode.
Yeah. I forget that everyone that's on this show sent an audition tape to be on this show.
Right,
You know?
they didn't get plucked at the. A producer wasn't on the family Christmas farm being like,
Right.
"Do you have a strapping young daughter who would like to
Yes.
participate?" Like all of them thought about it a lot, sent in audition tape, went and did a million follow-up interviews.
Yeah.
Like they were hungry for this.
Yeah, I don't. I like Daisy as a human being. I don't fully see their connection, and but I feel like the angle that they are showing her in, where it's all about her cochlear implant, makes it awkward for him to like dump her or to like let her go. So I don't understand like that. It just seems like they're friends when they hang out. It doesn't seem romantic to me.
Have you seen
unless
this-
I'm misreading it.
Have you seen the side-by-sides of when Kelsey says "I love you" and when Daisy does?
No.
Well,
Is it so
again,
different?
Again, it's such minutia and editing and who knows, but
Yeah.
I mean editing, I feel like they're aware of every tiny detail.
Yeah.
Kelsey, it's just, he's like smiling and he says something in response that's like comforting. With Daisy, it's literally and then
Not
he's like
a gulp.
they
Not an
cut
audible
to
gulp.
a gulp. Now, it wasn't a drag race gulp. I wish they would have put in the rattlesnake noise. But like he's definitely like, it's like
yeah.
processing a lot. Now let's talk Maria. Let's talk the ending and how she chickened out of saying that she loved him. And then do we think that factors in to why she went home, or do we think it's because of her misstep the week before when she was like, I think I'm done?
I
And
think
that planted the seed.
I think it's a combination of all of it. I think, like, we as an audience are getting the full picture, but Joey, who knows how sequestered he is, so he hears that, like, girls have a problem with this girl. Then it's like, oh, she doesn't say I love you, or she's holding back. Now she wants to quit. That I think, and then you have someone like Kelsey who's being pretty consistent the whole time. And I just think he might genuinely like Kelsey more. Also, she lives in Canada. And he lives where? Like, they have to factor in a little bit of the practicality of all
Yeah,
of
I
this.
think he currently lives in Philly. I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised because at some point it becomes, okay, well, does she have a citizenship or green
Right.
card in America? Like, at what point are we going to have a merge of 90 Day Fiance
Yeah.
and The Bachelor?
Well, I think she's excellent TV. I've been a
Yes.
fan of her since the beginning
You
because
love
she's
her.
just like a little, unpredictable. And I think, but I do think it's a little bit, as we've moved through the season, a little bit of her making a spot for herself in the Bachelor Nation. I don't think it's entirely authentically genuine. I think it's a bit maybe schemy, but hey, that's
the deal.
That's this show. Who wouldn't go in with some intention of, like, because if you didn't want to be looked at by a nation, you
Right.
would date at home off screen.
Well, there's the deal. And what you said about audition tape is that she did not get plucked. They did not randomly run into each other. So she sent in an audition tape to be on a show, knowing she's never even brought a guy home in real life.
Yeah, that was wild. I will say, like, her dad couldn't have been cast better for what I imagine Maria's father was, like, a gold pinky ring. Get out of here. Like,
Also, he had that 80s rocker hair that it makes me think, like, how many times have you played at Jurgles? and in what cover band?
Exactly. I thought, all right, so, I mean, no spoilers. We're talking about all of it. So I was shocked that Maria didn't get picked.
I was too.
I was
Absolutely.
mouth agape. I couldn't believe the tension that must have filled that hangar.
Yeah.
It was wild. Also, Maria pulling him to the side and then Rachel being like, what did you talk about? I saw Twitter being like, why is Rachel so pressed about this? Because Maria is the people's choice. A lot of people were obviously very upset. People are big fans of her. But if I was Rachel, I'd be fucking furious.
Same.
I'd be like, what is the etiquette of this show?
I know
I'm being
sometimes they
polite.
pull people aside, like, you know, and it truly, I've seen it before where it's like, before I go home, I have to tell him I loved him. Like, literally
Sure.
this exact same setup. However, with Rachel, like, we don't know the behind the scenes shenanigans, and they've now been there a couple of months. So
Yeah.
it's like Rachel has the first few weeks there was consumed with the Maria and Sydney drama.
Yeah.
And then it was this and that. And I'm sure Rachel is just, and she's a fucking ER trauma nurse. So I'm
Yeah.
sure at this point she's like, I'm tired of these little girls.
Yeah.
Does Joey want to date me or not?
Right. Yeah. And like, if she is the one that keeps getting special access to him when we're told we're not allowed, this is just a very unfair situation to be in.
Agreed.
Yeah. So I felt her frustration and I couldn't believe that Maria didn't get chosen. But ultimately, I think like they're the kind of couple that you're like, they would hook up and have a good hookup, but I don't know that they would have a good relationship.
Thank you. I think it would be like a whirlwind, crazy fun time for max 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it seems like Joey really is looking for a partner. Now,
for love?
I think it should be Kelsey. I'm team
Yeah.
Kelsey, but we shall
That's-
see.
I'm Team Kelsey, and I will be, again, shocked if she's not the one at the end of this, just based off of what their natural chemistry looks like.
I think Chip is walking by in the background. He went to the dentist.
Nice.
Oh,
Big day.
Based on Larry looking up, it's happening. Okay, let's talk Survivor,
Survivor.
which we actually watched together this week.
That was so fun. So fun. Wild episode. I'm still getting to learn everyone's names because there's
It's
so many
tough.
people.
There's so many people.
Let's see.
I
Okay.
will,
Go ahead.
I'll say out of the gate, one of my favorite moments.
Yeah.
Again, I will just refer to people by their
Appearance.
characteristics and
Yeah.
appearance. Was the song off between the Swiftie and the rocker dude, where they were going name for name of who could name the most songs from their favorite catalog.
Metallica versus Taylor Swift, and they named over 100 songs each, which is wild.
It was totally wild. I will say with the Swiftie, calling in a remix, I don't think counts.
I mean, he was going deep cuts out of the gate to prove, I think, his how deep his fan goes. But yeah, that was fun. We got to see a little personality.
That's how you know the episodes are an hour and a half right now and not an hour.
I know.
Which I enjoy.
Someone posted a video clip that I guess was like unseen footage of Venus talking to Tevin, and saying like, why wasn't this in the episode versus that dumb Taylor Swift montage? Because it's like she and Tevin are the only ones of their tribe that haven't like bonded, and Venus is getting like people are coming for her.
A lot of airtime.
A lot of airtime, but also her tribe like doesn't trust her, and Soda keeps trying to steal that thing out of her hand,
ripping it out. The immunity idol has been ripped out of her hand, and for me, I'm just kind of like, well, is it always being handed to Venus? So Soda rips. Is Venus going to get it? And Soda's just like, why does she always go? I think naturally, Venus is like the cute girl there, and so I feel like people are playing a little bit of like, oh, this cute girl, but also she's so little. I don't know how well she's going to do in challenges.
Yeah, fair. I mean, everyone this season, I saw people tweeting like, I'm sick of them casting dorks. And I can say this as a fellow dork, that I want some strong people on this island that can lift things.
I want some people who have been training for this. I want people who their backstory is like, hey, 2020 was a doozy, so I became a prepper and I know how to do everything. I don't need, look, case in point, and we were cracking up. Case in point, when they did the immunity challenge and the two women on the sidelines were essentially twins.
Liz and Mo having their Parent Trap moment.
I mean, like saying we don't need more dorks, I couldn't agree more. I want a CrossFit mom. I want, I need all of that.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's interesting because so the other major discourse this episode is that we get some villain, mean girl, mean boy behavior. And everyone on Twitter
is terrible.
Yeah, that tribe. I really got a bad taste in my mouth for all this, which I know everyone's like, Jeff recently, I guess, said somewhere publicly that they're done casting villains. They don't want to highlight villains on the show like they have in previous seasons.
Wow.
And everyone was like, oh, and now everyone's up, like everyone was up in arms about that. But now everyone's up in arms that these people are acting like villains. But I don't even think it's villain behavior. I think this was just like absolutely unnecessarily mean-spirited. Like they all had the votes to vote Jess out, and they decided to do this weird ruse with a fake idol. They decided to like intentionally take out their frustration of all of them collectively losing the challenge on her. Like her fear of going back to camp and being yelled at by her team as an adult who volunteered for a game show, basically, was like so disappointing to me. I was like, I know this is a game and it's ruthless and you get to live out this like liar fantasy that we all have in like our shadow versions of ourselves. But like, this is just like cruel for no reason. Episode 2.
I thought of it less in people trying to get their like villain mean moment. Yeah. And I thought of it more as they are all trying to look smart.
Yeah.
So it's
exactly.
not, so crafty. I don't think they did that to embarrass Jess. I feel like they did that because for some reason in their version they would look like they're outsmarting someone. Now the problem is that they just didn't think, well, first of all, like you said, it's episode 2. Like when a fake idol is brought out and planted and whatnot, couple things happen. One, it's because they truly have done all the backflip math in their head to where if one vote changes, the fake idol will be used and
Yep.
they think they're going home. Like it was pointless. It was absolutely pointless, like you said.
And
also,
it was a terrible looking fake idol.
Terrible.
Like, even Jess herself was like, I don't think this is real, but how can you ever trust that instinct when you're on the show?
Exactly. And when Q is being like, well, I'll take it back. I mean, Q played it right. But I will say a fake idol makes sense when it's used to get someone out who's so good they actually found the idol.
Yeah.
As opposed to this version, they made a fake idol. And it's like, I don't think the girl who's literally being directed to it and still can't find it is the one we need to like use this play on. Like Jess is maybe the most oblivious player I've ever seen on this show.
Yeah.
And so it's like, she is not the one. Like you use it when you're like, oh, well, this is this person's last shot. And we know, like, we're in the last 6. They're going to be up all night looking for an idol. Let's plant a fake one. Not second person to go home and we're all voting for her anyway.
Right. Like, you guys have the numbers. That's what I didn't understand. Why do this pomp and circumstance when you have the numbers? Like, this isn't clever. This isn't slick. Like, this is just reading really, like, unfortunately mean. Like,
also, there's one person, and I can't remember who it is on this season, who wears a necklace that's essentially big idol beads. Like it looks uncomfortable. There's like squares
Venus.
On it. Is it Venus?
I think it's Venus. Yeah.
It's like that's a walking billboard for future fake idols.
Well, like they all get like these beads like at their camp or something, and so like they all like remember the previous
this one
season
looks
when
like
this
one looks like a kindergarten learn your shapes toy.
Yeah, it's a bit much. Banu this episode
still looks like Flula.
Still looks like Flula. He smeared his own blood on his forehead at one point. That I was like, what the hell? And this is just like a quick cutaway. What the fuck is going on there? Yeah, I was like, what? And then he just fully melted down at Tribal, like full meltdown.
Again, I don't know what's happening, but the way that this Yanu tribe is playing in like, episode 2 meltdowns and episode 2 fake idols, it makes me feel like, and I know it's not true because everyone's a super fan, it makes me feel like someone was just shown 3 best of episodes. You know what I mean? Like if someone was like, oh, I'm going to go on Survivor. I've just watched some compilations of big moves.
Yes. Yeah.
And like big rousing speeches. It's like
100%.
Let's pace ourselves, people.
My note is like, good Lord, slow down, which I get. This is like, these are quicker seasons. Hi, Elliot.
Hi, Elliot.
He got offered Coke downstairs, he said.
Nice.
We are in Vegas. I was like, you guys got to slow down. I know these are like expedited seasons and faster seasons, but like, and I know people have obviously their Survivor checklist and their bucket list of all the things that they want to do on the show, but it feels now like too fast. Like
absolutely too fast.
It's not strategic. There's nothing smart about or clever about it.
Why don't you take the energy and the time that you spent making a fake idol, hiding it, and holding Jess's hand to try to find it? Why don't you just spend that time looking for an actual idol?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she has the Beware idol.
She does have the Beware idol, but was it that it can be turned into a real one after they lose, and they did lose?
Yeah, I forget where we're at with that status. So does she have an actual idol? She might. I also loved that when we got to the challenge, everyone was roasting Jelinski, who got voted off. Like,
because he could have held the arch.
Well, someone said, what the guy on the other team said, last name first out.
Yes.
I was like, oh, and I saw Twitter being like, I've never seen a player get roasted by the entire cast before. After
normally you go, oh, who got sent home? I don't even know the people on my tribe's name yet. Everyone was just like, fuck Jelinski. I'm gonna have to look him up on Instagram and see if he's doing okay. I'm sure he's like, I'm sure he's like selling Survivor NFTs or something.
He's got if he's not selling several means 7 merch somewhere, I don't know what he's doing. He really made a name for himself.
Absolutely. Overall, I'm like exactly what you said. Let's slow down.
Yeah.
Let's form some like true kind of friendship alliances and like use that as our strength as opposed to pulling out every shocking moment we can.
Yeah, I'm actually very excited to see this team implode.
Yeah, me too.
Like now they removed Jess, who I did an interview where she said some version of my entire time on Survivor was a living nightmare.
Perfect.
She had the worst time ever.
She only ate ants. She never slept. Everyone was out to get her. But even when she like formed a tiny alliance, the second Kinsey turned, she was 2 feet away from her, and she goes, "Let's vote her out."
And that's
Like,
where I
what?
thought the tides were going to turn. I thought the tides were going to turn, and then it'd be like these two wild cards, Jess and Banu, are going to get together and take out this like mean girl right now. That'd be so satisfying to watch. But now we get to see how they handle each other. And Banu, man, I'm rooting for him, but I'm nervous about his mental health.
Yeah, I definitely am too. And oh man, Banu,
We'll
just
see.
save the speeches, buddy. Save the speeches. These are the episodes where people should be going, "Wow, this is very surreal to be here, Jeff. Oh, I'm so excited." You know, just like some like a little bit of levity.
Yeah.
Y'all aren't that hungry yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's what, day 4, I think, by the time they had done that? Yeah. We'll see.
Well, overall, though, so fun. Very excited. All the competitions are cooking up.
Yes, they are.
Vanderpump is, meanwhile, on a very low simmer.
Yeah, it is.
And that just might be the way the cookie crumbles this season. I love that. I'm like, oh, how boring. These people are trying to save their mental health.
I know. Look at them all not drinking and meditating. Ew.
Woof.
This is not what I signed up to watch.
Woof, woof.
Tear each other down.
Right? Oh, man. Okay, well, you have got some Coke to be offered in the lobby.
Yeah,
And-
it's a Friday in Vegas.
And
Here we
I
go.
need to get out of pajamas and go entertain my stepmom.
Nice.
So this was fun, and this got real.
Yeah, it did.